You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Welcome back to the Comic Crusaders Podcast, the number one spot, baby, for creators, innovators, and the pop culture flavor you crave. Now, today, we have a legend in the building. This man right here invented the original selfie stick. He gave Disney that magic talking mirror magic. And now he's mixing it up, with that Snoopy himself, baby, for the big 75th birthday bash. All right. I mean, my man is here to say hello. He's an innovator of fun and the future. I mean, he's going to be talking invention, legacy, and this brand new Snoopy Magic Mixer that's about to have us all dancing with joy, baby. But you know how I like to dance. So hit that applause track, baby, because we have the one, the only, the amazing Wayne Fromm. How you doing? Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for that intro.
You're a big boss, man, and I'm so happy to have you here. And thank you for the wonderful, over here as well, man. I can't wait. I'm actually going to be seeing my niece over New York Comic Con, so I'm going to test it out on her. Like, here, baby girl, I got a gift for you from a legend, but I need you to say this out, see how easy it is for you. You know what I mean? That's what I did. But my man, when you first invented the selfie stick, I want to go back there real quick, right? Did you ever imagine at that moment that you would be changing the entire planet forever? I think that most people are going to blame. You know what? Wayne Fromm's on the content creator shit, because once they made him look that sexy, it's Wayne's fault that we have so many content creators.
I had no idea. When I was working on it, before we launched it, I went to my daughter and I said, if this thing doesn't fly, what else can we use it for? And I thought maybe sell it to clothing stores so that people can reach higher racks and put clothes on them. I had no idea.
I'm one of those shorties that need that. I'm only 5'7", but I'm not tall enough apparently. So. I dig it. So, bless us with the origin story. Where you originally from? And I always like to dig into origin stories. So, like, sure. Fandom stories. So what was the first thing that can fandom, like, where your geekiness came from?
When I was a kid, we had an old television set, and this predates anybody that's probably watching today, but we didn't have remote controls, and I would sit there, trying to adjust the volume. So I came up with a little strings apparatus that with putty put it onto this volume control, and I was able to pull the volume up and down. And
oh, so you were inventing as a kid, huh?
Yes. I used to take things apart in the house. My parents would wonder, why is this part not in the clock you just took apart? I would try to put
it all together. You don't need it.
Yeah, son.
Oh, your parents, you must have drove them crazy.
They got a kick out of it.
I dig it. All right. So, leading on to this inventor life of yours, if you will. I mean, growing up, where did you grow up exactly?
I grew up in Toronto, in Ontario, Canada.
Okay. All right. Canadian. Hey, there we go. Wepa. Salute, my brother. So, all right. So growing up in Canada, like, what type of access? Like, what were your early influences? Or were you just always naturally curious?
Years ago, again, this predates a lot of knowledge that your average person would have, but Polaroid had come out with a camera when I was a kid called the Polaroid Swinger, and I was fascinated with Polaroid. And I was I was only 10 years old. I bought one. I saved up all my money. It was $34 to buy. It came with a case and everything.
Back then that must have been $340. What I mean?
It was a lot back then. And I remember they had a symposium where they wanted a focus group. I came to their focus group with all of their executives. I was like 10 years old. And I said, people my age might love this thing. And I think because of that, they shifted their whole marketing strategy to a much younger crowd, and they showed it with a wrist strap and young people swinging this on
Nice.
their wrist and whatnot. So Polaroid was a huge one. I was just fascinated the fact that pictures could develop instantly, and they had these little chemicals that you would just rub onto the film, and it was like magic. So I think that was probably my biggest one, Dr. Edwin Land.
Of
Just the
course.
fact that he invented and marketed. But another inspiration was Charlie Chaplin. I was a film buff. I loved old films, and the fact that he had vertical integration. Wrote his films, he started them, he directed them, he owned his own movie
Oof.
studio. There were very few people. And then Jerry Lewis, another one. He just kind of did the whole thing as well. Directed, starred in.
Yeah.
And their personal lives had ups and downs, but the fact that they were able to create and manifest that creativity is what inspired me.
Oh, whew, yeah. Listen, I get it. I watched those legends on TV as well, growing up back in New York. My father is in his late 80s. He obviously put me on to the Chaplins,
Hmm.
Stooges. Growing up and all that good stuff. Which to this day,
Yeah,
like, there's nothing on TV. And you know what I wind up watching? Those old TV shows or those old
same.
flicks because it's like, you know what? You cannot remake this anymore. It has a certain magic, Wayne. Man, it's
Yep.
like the magic you bring into the world. Shit. And talking about magic, shit. You also bless Disney fans with the magic talking mirror. Whoa, like
Yeah.
how does it feel also creating something that adds real world magic to Disney's storytelling? Are you part of those mythos, brother?
I love that. I worked with the original cast of the animation. I flew out. I gave Robbie Benson. He was the voice of the Beast. He was
Oh,
directing a
dope.
CBS Studio episode with Burt Reynolds of Evening Shade. I remember giving him one with his daughter. I wrote the script. We had Angela Lansbury record. It was actually the world's
Oh,
first
wow.
talking toy that had the original voices. They were not sound bites from the movie. They were not sound alikes, but I wrote the script and I had the original actors, Jerry Orbach,
Dude.
everybody record.
Were
I
you in
loved them.
studio at that time when all this recording was going on?
I wasn't in the studio, but they sent me
Ah,
the digital audio tracks, and then we had to compress them to fit them into
oh man.
the integrated circuit. I wish I was. I would have loved to have been there.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, here you are putting these voices because like this is the toy I made, and yet I cannot be there with the voices.
That's okay.
Ah,
You know what? I would travel. I was in
legend.
England seeing my toy in London. I was in Hong Kong, saw it at Toys R Us in Hong Kong. It was just very
Toys
flattering
R
to
Us.
see it all over the world. I loved it.
It's so wonderful. Toys R Us is coming back. I wish they could get back to Times Square space,
I
and bring it
agree.
back.
I agree.
Please, so I could dive into nostalgia.
I
All right,
agree.
so, I want to talk about that nostalgia, man, because you mix innovation with nostalgia, and talking about nostalgia, it is Snoopy. Snoopy, oh my God, 75
Yeah.
years of Snoopy. So, what inspired you specifically to create this right here, the
Well,
Snoopy Magic Mixer on the 75th?
when I was in grade seven,
Ooh,
my
look at that
homeroom
baby right
my
there.
my homeroom teacher, he loved Snoopy and Charlie Brown, and he would tell lessons from the books and the comics. So I surprised him one day with a huge, it was like a 4 foot by 8 foot plywood painting of Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and I wood burned it all around the edges, and then I painted it, brought it to school, and he put it up at the front of the class for the whole year as a
Oh, wow.
tribute. So I go way back, and then as a kid, we saw there was a play here and called about Charlie Brown. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. I think even Martin Short was in it way back then.
Oh, wow.
I've had a fondness always for Snoopy. So when I had an opportunity when I was working on the Magic Mixer, I started to think, well, what kind of character would suit this the most? And I remember growing up, the Snoopy snow cone machine was popular.
Oh, my God. Stop, bro. Throwing me back, bro.
So that was when the Snoopy snow cone is still around. It's like 40 odd years later. So I thought, you know what, this could be a nice follow up to that. That's snow cones, and mine will be, shakes and smoothies and puddings
healthier
and
little
stuff.
options.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
I love it. Let me tell you, man, I got this. I love Snoopy. I grew up with this character just as well. I mean, the packing is great. I mean, then
Thank
we,
you.
you know, I'm showing this off. I mean, this baby, it's swirly edge magic mixer, folks. And I got this whole part. I mean, look how pretty. I mean, how involved were you on the design? Talk about this. Look at this.
So
Wow.
this thing spins at 15,000 RPM, but it's safe and it's really quiet. So that was another thing. I didn't want in the morning if somebody's using it to, wake up anybody or a dog to
Oh, thank
bark.
you. I appreciate that.
Just for you, I did that. So, the thing spins, but it's impossible to turn on unless it's inside the cup. And that's why it's
Oh,
safe.
really?
There's no sharp parts, there's no blades whatsoever. It's impossible to turn on. So that's why it's safe for all ages. You could even have a senior citizen making their Metamucil or a little kid making their
Oh,
chocolate
nice.
milk. So it's all ages.
All ages won't turn on unless it's inside the
Yeah.
cup itself and start
Then
doing this job.
then you're talking about creativity. I came up one day with the idea, well, what happens if somebody wants to display it in their kitchen and they want to keep it in the cup? So
Yeah.
I include this little rubber ring that deactivates the motor. So now you can actually put it in your
Oh,
kitchen and it
cool.
won't turn on. Now, in addition to that, comes with a little stopper that goes into the hole in the lid, and it comes with a sustainable reusable silicone straw so you can drink from that. Comes with a little ice cream scoop and a little measuring spoon as well. So it's got all the little accessories that keep kids and everyone happy.
My man said ice cream. Don't to get me started make a milkshake out this. I mean, look at it go to mix real milkshakes, smoothies,
Hmm.
and more, folks. And that's the website right there if you want to check out not just this product, but everything else you got going on. And it's also in the show links. You know how I do over here, folks. You know what I mean? But look at this. Easy to use. So talk about just the process. Teach folks how easy it is to use.
Simply.
The Fromm method.
All right, the Fromm method. So it's got little measurement lines on the side of the cup as well, and you just put in your preferred drink. It could be dairy milk, plant-based milk, orange juice, whatever you want. Take your little scooper, put in frozen
And that
yogurt.
scooper, what type of measurement is it? Like, how much is the
It,
measurement on the scooper?
it's just a little tiny amount for kids grip. That's,
Okay.
I made it small. This is 1 teaspoon. So if you want to start measuring things like your chocolate syrup or powders, or even for adults, creatine, collagen, whatever, you just stick it into the cup. There's a hole in the lid, and then you simply take your Snoopy and let them smile and take them for a spin, and that's it.
And there you
Just
go. There goes that vortex right there. Look how fast this is going. Like a mini tornado.
yes, yes. Now it's not meant for frozen ice cubes. It's not a blender. It's a
You hear
mixer.
this, folks? It's
Yeah.
a mixer, not a blender.
Exactly.
So
So
get that straight right there. Don't be trying to break this beautiful looking product right here.
exactly,
All
exactly.
right. And then detailed measurements, hand-free mixing, spinning, BPA free, whisk
Yes.
required, non-slip based, dishwasher safe. There you go, folks. You know, what I mean, for
Hmm.
you lazy folks that don't want to scrub it with your hands, dishwasher safe.
Yeah.
Easy to twist the lid. You know what I mean. So you don't got to be Mr. Muscle Man looking like Arnold with big arms to open this lid. You
Right.
know.
Yeah. And you could clean it. Just put warm water and soap, dishwash, any kind of dish soap into it,
And look
and
at the
then just
design on the
and
cup
then
itself, though.
it'll
I
just
mean,
clean it. It'll clean itself at that point.
do you know who did the artistry on the cup itself? Because it's so nice.
I created everything. I used digital
What?
asset. I used the assets
Oh man.
from Peanuts LLC, but I did everything. I did the package. I did the cup. I'll tell you, doing these measurements took me. It was like I was going crazy because
He said it's science.
it's a conical cup, so you can't just
Yeah.
figure it out. It was
I,
challenging.
I
Yeah.
see it. Yeah. It gets wired a little bit as it goes up. So yeah, it
Yes.
changes the oh
Yes.
man. Um,
Yes.
you did it to yourself though.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I love it though. I mean, it's a great invention or something. Again, look at this. Small parts though, not for children under 3 years. You know, please, if you are going to give that to a kid under 3 years, definitely an adult should be involved. And
Mhm.
what are you talking about? A bonus frothing disc?
Yeah, so we include this. So this looks more like a milk frother. So it's a stainless steel disc so that if you have, different types of liquids, you want to aerate them or emulsify them, you can exchange the bottom part. So you can take
Oh, you
the,
can. So how
yeah,
easy is it to exchange the
just
part?
just just pull it
Oh,
off
look at that, folks.
and then you just stick the new one on. It's easy. Just pops in.
And boom,
That's it.
boom.
Boom, boom.
Oh, there
Done.
we go.
Yeah.
So, and the cup can handle both hot and cold drinks, correct?
Yeah, but you don't want to make it uncomfortable to hold, but it'll take the heat. It's a matter
Gotcha.
of,
But it
you get,
shouldn't be meant for that. But it can.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Again,
you
because
get
when
it.
people think frosting, they're gonna start thinking coffee. You know what I mean?
True,
That's
true,
all right.
true.
Then we got
Hmm.
milkshakes, we got those smoothies, we got those protein drinks. We only needs two AAA batteries, not including folks in the package, but no
Hmm.
problem. But again, that's what I love over here. No sharp blades.
Yeah.
So how important was that to you in the design of the
That
product?
was essential. Every engineer I spoke to said, just go 8 plus. You're never going to get something as safe as you want. And I said, no. And I worked on it. This took me
You
two
put
years. And I came up with the way that it activates and turns on and off. That was the secret to get this 3 plus. That was very important to me. The other thing is in the lid, to get the propeller out when you put it in and out, I wanted it easy for children, so I had to work on the radius of this propeller so that it doesn't get stuck inside the lid. So there's a lot of little hidden things that people wouldn't expect, but there's a lot behind the scenes.
so that good. But an invention. Talk about how it creates that cool vortex that you did. You know, not many are able to do that. And the way that yours shows, I mean, that looks crazy cool. So is it because of the design? Or did you do it intentionally? Was that a pleasant surprise?
It was, it's the strength of the motor that I chose. And once I perfected the safety aspect of the activation switch, then I could go in with a really strong motor. And that was the big break, me coming up with that way to activate it, because I wanted to stay away from magnets. I wanted to stay away from, any kind of circuit that could fail if somebody eventually put any part of this in the dishwasher. So I tested this, in extreme cold temperatures and freezers and extreme hot temperatures, and this motor assembly with the on off hidden magic activation is what allows that vortex to spin like that.
Let me ask you here, though. You know, we're talking about this Snoopy, but is this the first time you ever collaborated, with this particular franchise, or is this
Yes,
something started something bigger?
it's the first time. They're an amazing company to
Nice.
to deal with. I'm very proud to be associated with them, and I'm extremely proud of this product. The way it turned out is just, it's lovable. He's lovable, and it works.
You know what? I need you to make us a Lucy a slicer. You know how she kicks the foot, or
Yeah.
pulling away. So as she pulls the football away, she's slicing meat or something. Make us that now, please.
Okay, we'll collaborate.
Yeah, we gotta do more Snoopy based products over here. I mean, is there potential for as such? What do you think?
Anything's possible. That's a great part of inventing and creating or writing a movie or a TV show. You can, whatever you think of, you can bring to life. It's all possible.
If the man himself was here today, Charles M. Schultz, right? What do you think he'd say about this 75th anniversary tribute? Because this is a tribute here to our man Snoopy.
I know that he'd be beaming with pride the way his family is. 100%.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So you've been called an inventor of fun.
Hmm.
So how do you kind of decide like which ideas get built and which kind of stay in the notebook? Up until maybe you get it to a point that you're comfortable.
I tend to think like a child in many ways. So if I think it's fun, it seems to translate and scale that other people think it's fun as well. Of course, I have to outthink adults in order to get patents, but I have to think like a child in many ways. So it's really gut instinct. A lot of it is just instinct.
I dig it. I dig it. Now let's talk about the selfie stick, right? Because that definitely got some global fame. Now, did you ever have to flex in arguments where people doubted you? You know what I mean?
Lots, lots. I remember showing early samples. I had a friend from South Korea, and I said, what do you think of this? And she said, oh no, and people in my country are too proud. They would never use this. It's very, egotistical and whatnot. I had a lot of negative
And yeah,
feedback.
and yeah, look at that country right now. Yeah, and
What
people.
it reminds me of whoever invented sunglasses. Like, let's say, go back 600 years. I have no idea. There was somebody came out of a cave and they were wearing these seashells and saying, "Hey, these things work, but they look so stupid. Nobody will ever wear them." Then, when now we have sunglasses. Who knows? That's how this whole selfie stick was. I thought, it looks stupid. People are going to be embarrassed, maybe. I would test it in public places, but kind of, waiting for somebody to say, "What is that?" It looks
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Did anyone ever ask me? I mean, being the early entrepreneur on this, obviously, the father of this. I mean, when you first introduced the product out there, did you get strange looks from people, or was it maybe questions like, "Oh, that's cool. Where did you get that?"
It was mixed. When I launched it originally on QVC. So I got a spot on
Oh wow, you
QVC.
come on the QVC time. Epa, nice. All
Yeah,
right,
and it
all
sold
right.
out. They invited me back. I was on several times. It sold out every time we were on, and the hosts all just congratulated me, saying, "Hey, this is brilliant," and everything else. So that's when I started to feel, confident in this because we were getting
Oh,
great, great, great feedback. Back then, it predated. I brought this out originally before the iPhone, just before Steve Jobs announced the iPhone. People did not know how to use self timers on their digital cameras. The original phones in that time, the flip phones they were taking low res pictures. No one even knew how to get the pictures off their phone onto a computer or some other media. So it was there were still a lot of questions back then. It was a little ahead of its time.
yeah. You're right. I'm laughing because yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about it. Like, yeah, did I ever get those pictures off those phones? I'm like, I was like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think I ever did. I shared them, but I don't think I ever
Yeah,
got them off. Holy shit,
yeah,
you're absolutely right. Like how
yeah.
times have changed.
Yes,
Like
and
we,
quickly.
we get so exactly. That's the thing of it. It's so quick that you forget
Yep.
wasn't there even right prior. So I lost tons of memories, obviously, in those old phones.
Yeah.
Sucks before the cloud. bro, bro.
Yeah.
But you've created products that have become household names, bro. How do you keep that energy going? So, I mean, even now, I see you up, man. How do you not burn out?
You know, uh, my personal regime, like today, I had hot yoga. I swim, I do yoga, I get together with friends and family, I play the drums, I exercise, I play sports. I prioritize my health actually, and by doing that, I'm able to focus on the fun things in life. And as children, we can all go out and we play and we can be in a sandbox, and you don't even have to be talking to your friend beside you, but they can be making a castle, you can make something up. Just the fact you're with somebody. So I just love being around people, good friends, people that are loyal and trustworthy and fun, playful, make me laugh. I make them laugh. That's part of the secret sauce. And then the rest just kind of flows whenever I'm in the shower or who knows what. It just the ideas just come to me, but I'm not distracted by some of the other stuff.
So let me ask here: has there ever been a time where you invented something and you thought was like, oh, this is fire, this is gonna be the dopest thing on the planet, but people just didn't get it?
Um, I've been pretty fortunate. I did have something that we took it. I had licensed it to a large toy company, and I loved this idea. It was called Comic. I came up with the name. They were miniature micro comic books, and other companies since then have brought things out like this. But mine required a little magnifying glass to read, and we did mock-ups with Spider-Man and all the Marvel comics.
Oh,
And they
cool.
came in a little tiny. I don't know if you remember, but like DVDs and VHS used to come in these little plastic cases. I made a little microplastic case so that the comics would go in the plastic case. Then you could have games where you flip them against the wall and collect them, and they'd come in blind box. So people didn't know exactly what they're getting. They could trade them and everything else. That was a project that I was so disappointed. There was a TV commercial made for it. They tested it in Cleveland, and that large toy company, for whatever reason, decided to pass on it. But I loved it, and I still love it. So that's
Well,
one that
bring it back, man. Bring it back. Now people are loving blind box stuff. I mean, they
yeah.
just started blind comic book bags, like
It,
recently.
Yeah.
And listen, my shout out to Izzy. He does a top 10, like list of the week. And let me tell you, last week it was a blind bag. I think with the Batman one and or the DC Marvel one now they got going on, whatever. Hey, bro,
Mm.
number one books. They're taking over the top tens. I'm like, what the heck? Because
Yeah.
people love that.
Yeah.
That's part of collecting, isn't it?
I even did the music. We did a commercial, and I was the drummer, and we put the song together. It was great. It was called "Get Small, Get 'Em All." That was my.
Yeah, yo, bring it back, man. I want to see the Fromm verse, the Fromm band. I mean, from Talica over here. Let's go, bro. We gotta make it happen now.
Okay.
Do you consider yourself more of a mad scientist type or a happy dreamer when you create something?
Um, I'm somewhere in between. If I had to come up with a term, I would take it'd be hybrid. It would be an inventor, sorry, an entreventor or something like that, or an inventorpreneur, or somewhere between entrepreneur and inventor. Because as I said earlier about the Polaroid, I there's not that many people that create something and bring them to market on their own. They generally do one or the other. There's a lot of people in marketing, and there's inventors that they work in their little workshops, but they really, they're not, they're self-conscious. You see them come onto Shark Tank, some of them, but generally people are a little introverted or shy if they're inventors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what advice would you give like young inventors who are trying to make fun products? Like you're doing that people actually use. Anybody could invent something, which is cool, but people put it to the side. But making things that people make kind of like part of their life.
Yeah. Test it. Come up, just let your imagination roam. Like when I was a kid, we had things like silly putty and slinkies and gyroscopes and chemistry sets and like anything that unleashes that creativity. Like we're doing a science version of the mixer, a STEM.org version. It's been authenticated by for science, technology, engineering, math, and we're working with a PhD on this. I have a book of 30 really cool experiments that even adults are going to be amazed at what
Oh man,
happens.
stop playing! You're gonna make me a mad scientist at home now. That's dangerous,
I'll
Doctor
get
Meg.
to.
I
So just
love.
go with it. Just tell the kids, they've got to just let their. There was a show out of New Zealand years ago that allowed kids to come up with their ideas, and they would hire engineers to bring these ideas to life. So one kid had an idea for a couch that he could play his video games on, but it was rocket fuel powered that he could get to school while sitting on the couch. And they actually showed this kid on a couch going to school with this little propulsion behind him. I loved it. So you know what? Kids are great dreamers. Just,
I
just,
love.
just.
I think I've seen that on Instagram somewhere where somebody actually put an engine in a sofa and
Yeah,
drove it. It's
yeah,
hysterical.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wayne, you are about to blow up the next generation of inventors. I'm excited. I mean, when are we doing, a tech with Fromm, the TV show? What's going on over here?
Anytime.
Yeah, we got to make this. Like, what's the plans for the future? I mean, keep inventing any new products, or,
Yeah.
we're gonna get you on.
I just finished a book. It's an inventor's playbook, and it's like no holds barred. It talks about all the grueling 24/7 work that goes into inventing and bringing products to market. And on my website, there's a drop down from the hamburger that goes to the playbook so people can buy it. And there's also a free preview. I could send you a link that people can read the first three chapters, and then the whole book is $39, and you could get the really the backstory to everything, how it all happens, some of the business tips, patent tips, trademark tips, lessons, avoid pitfalls. It's on my website, fromworks.com, which is just my last name, fromworks.com.
It's right there, folks.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Yeah,
FORMWORKS.com.
yeah.
Please make sure to check that out, folks. It's also in the show notes that makes things very easy. But most importantly is this right here. I need you guys to go to Amazon today, right now. The link is there. Preschool treat mixer kids. Look at the Snoopy prop. I mean, look how dope this is. Look at all the goodies, and it's not just for kids. I'm a big kid. I kind of don't want to give this to my niece, but hey, I owe her gift anyway, so just review it, baby. And it's yours. A gift for the price. But this is dope. I mean, I know she loves Snoopy, so as much as I do. You hear me?
Love it. I love it. That's great. That's great.
It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Wayne, so much for joining me, man. Again, this is the big 75 for Snoopy. And again, what do you think makes Snoopy so timeless and still connecting with every single generation?
He's adorable, number one. So even if you show it to a child that's not familiar with Snoopy, they're still going to find him endearing because he's adorable. And the connections you see now, we're coming up to Halloween, the pumpkins. Any store you go to, Target, Walmart, you'll see the grocery stores all around the pumpkins. You'll see Charlie Brown. It's just a feel good story and animation and characters.
I agree. I mean, he's legend. He's epic, just like you are, Wayne. For real. So, what a ride, mi gente. This is what it is right here, all right? This is Wayne Fromm, the man who gave us a selfie stick, Disney Magic, and now the Snoopy Magic Mixer to celebrate the 75 years of everybody's favorite Beagle. That's right, fam. Please do yourself a favor. Celebrate like Snoopy, dance like Snoopy, and go grab yourself this magic mixer before it's gone. You heard? So, Wayne, thank you so much for bringing joy to the world. Honestly, I mean, one invention at a time. People, smash that like button, that subscribe button, and the share button. Very important. So you can share what Wayne's talking all about and get that book he's talking about as well. Make sure you send me that link so I can also share that on the notes, Wayne, because people need to learn about that. We have a whole world of new inventors out there, and I need to see their products too. And, folks, so you know what it is, as always. Keep it wepa, keep it geeky, and keep it the Comic Crusaders lane, baby. Hasta la próxima. Woo! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit ComicCrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at UndercoverCapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.